let's talk Connect 2025. I've got a pretty decent amount of notes here. Um, what's the big one? Big one, Studio, Horizon Studio. Also, I'm going to a wedding after this, so that's the get up. First thing you need to know is they announced Horizon Studio. This is going to be an interesting ride. It's going to take some time for the transition, so definitely don't freak out yet. But I do want to start with this kind of reminder that this is potentially the fourth time this sort of thing has happened. Prior to me joining Horizon, there was something called Spaces, which predated Horizon, which then we had Facebook Horizon take over with the code blocks and primitives. Then we had Horizon Worlds with the desktop editor and TypeScript. And now we are going to Horizon Studio with Horizon Engine, which is a completely new engine. Very, very exciting, very, very powerful. We're talking 5 times more users, up to 130 more people, like up to 130 people in a world. You're talking shaders like realistic water. So many things are possible. Like baked lighting, just baking shadows in. Very, very, very powerful stuff. One of my favorite features that I got to see was that you could export a model in Blender and it would update the model that you had already imported live. Like it would just, as soon as you exported it in Blender, boom, it was updated. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Like that would just change my workflow immediately. So there's some exciting features, but it's the fourth time we've done this. It's feeling a little exhausting. But I do think this change was necessary for what the metaverse needs, what it's going to require to become what they want. Unity was definitely holding us back. It's got a lot of baggage, so to speak. And but this isn't happening tomorrow. This is going to be in a closed beta. There's a ton missing, and this is where I really want to start with, like, if you're going to go into the beta, be there to build tools for the community. That's my recommendation. There are currently a bunch of studios that are partnered with Meta to try it out. You've seen some of them, like the event space for the Connect. You've got the new Super Rumble, I think it's called Super Strike. And then you've got like new Bobber Bay is exciting. Tons of brand new worlds that look phenomenal, absolutely amazing using this new engine. And the best part is they work in the same app. So when you're in Horizon Worlds, you can travel between these things. Very, very cool. And there's faster load times. You got better graphics, faster load times. Bigger worlds are now possible. I mean, oh, it's very exciting. And they're even talking about plugins as a possibility. I'm very excited about that. I'm not sure how much of this I'm allowed to talk about. I feel like it's all public because it was at Connect, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to try to, like, be careful just in case. The second thought here is I would estimate for this to reach a real maturity point, it's going to take at least 1.5 to 2 years to really get to a point where anyone who's currently in the desktop editor can relatively easily transition to the studio. What I was saying about it missing a bunch of features, there's no gizmos, so there's no projectile launcher, there's no trigger, there's no, pretty much anything that you know of as a gizmo doesn't exist. You have to make those yourself by scripting it. I don't know to what extent that entails. Like, I don't know if there's a light gizmo or of some sort, or if you have to build an empty object and put a light script on it. No idea. Can't wait to try it out. I hope if I get in the beta, they'll let me make tutorials. We'll see. We'll see. But because of NDA, sometimes they don't want to make tutorials until after they've really polished the product a lot more. But the main thought there is, if I make a trigger gizmo or something like that and then share that code with you, you can then use it. And that's what I'm saying. So if you get into the beta, I recommend making tools that you can share openly with the community, because these studios that have already done this hard work, they're probably not going to share it. It's proprietary, right? Like, it's what gives them a leg up on everyone else because they've already built all these features. But that's not what I see in Horizon. I see us as a community that supports each other. We can build a bigger, better Horizon by making features for each other. We've done that forever. Vidyuu Essentials, come on, guys. And then everyone else who did that along the way, thank you guys too. We've all built this amazing platform. So same thing's going to happen. Now, they do want it to be very heavy on AI. So as they add more AI tooling and AI gets better, you're definitely going to be able to create worlds easier. So they're trying to go from both ends. Like, from the very top, you can be incredible. You can, like, use super high developer tools, and from the bottom, you'll be able to use AI tools, and then try to meet it in the middle. So basically, we're taking very, very simple tools and very, very hard tools, and working until they're close together so anyone can build. I think it's exciting, but I definitely don't want anybody thinking, yeah, I got to get this tomorrow, because it's going to be way harder. We're talking, like, right now, right now, genuinely, if I wanted to build a world in Horizon and not rush it, I'd like to take about 6 months. I think would be a good timeline, and then it'll probably take 8 months to really get it right. So seriously, when you think about the new tools, imagine a year. Like imagine it taking a year. So like obviously you could rush something out, but it won't be nearly as compelling as something that's been really thoughtfully done. Okay, let's see if there's any good notes in here. I know I have something else I want to say. Let's see. I've talked a little bit about the things that are missing. There's a lot of differences. There's a lot of really cool features. Like it is very exciting. One of the things that I heard said was, if you're hitting the limits in the desktop editor, this is going to just be like, you needed this. You needed this to push past those limits. Now, the one thing I've been told that we won't be getting that I really wanted was a 3D modeling feature where like I could make custom meshes via code, and then you could like, in my dream world, you can grab the model and push and pull vertices around. They have no intention of implementing any way to do that. I think it's due to something like baked lighting, and who knows what exactly their concerns are. But unfortunately, that won't be coming. So my plan is to build a creator tool for you guys in Unity. That's my project for the next year. So stay tuned for more information on that as I work on it. But I do think it's going to take like 6 months before I have a prototype for the public. So like, don't expect anything anytime soon. I guess you'd probably want to know what the VR experience is like. And that was something we asked heavily. So you can hardwire your headset in. I'm never going to do that. Like technically you can hardwire to the computer and do that. But realistically what you're going to want to do is just push your update out and then try it out. This is unfortunate from the standpoint that you can't like iterate super quickly. So you're probably going to want to build some like developer tools so while you're in world, you can quickly modify like parameters and settings to try and like fine tune it until you get the exact settings you're looking for, write it down, back to desktop editor, lock it in. Obviously that's not ideal. I love being in the desktop editor and my testers can come in VR, but there is no like VR editor. So that might be something they think about in the future as we like demand, like we got to ask for these features. So if you get into the beta, feel free to like ask for the features that you need that are going to make your life easier. That could be one of them. And just as a reminder, I think there's a lot of fear that code blocks, VR editor, desktop editor, etc. is going to go away. It's not. They're planning to keep those. I don't see my mental model is as long as a Morgul. Sorry, there's a plane flying by. But as long as a Morgul has popular code blocks in primitive worlds, they have to keep it, right? Like they don't want to delete these amazing worlds. But there are technically, for those technical to wonder, there are two binaries. So you're running the Unity and their new Horizon engine binaries and the things. That's a lot of extra downloads. It takes up a little extra storage. I don't think it's that bad, but it is, it's more. So there's probably a day in a decade where we have to like say sorry code blocks, sorry primitives, but like we've all transitioned to the studio. Speaking of transition, migration, I don't think it's gonna happen. There's definitely like maybe, but things are so different. I can never imagine a world where anything from code blocks or TypeScript would transition. I think that's gonna be something really scary to even say. Like TypeScript today will not work in Studio TypeScript because the APIs are gonna be completely different. There are no gizmos, right? Like we've mentioned. So things are just going to be so different. I don't know what their event system is like, but I suspect there is no event system. So if you've been following the Think Like a Programmer TypeScript series I've been putting on, we really avoid using the event system most of the time. I've done a couple tutorials on it because there are some use cases where I like it. But there are other ways to do that, and we're going to have to see because I've not been there. Not been there yet. Can't wait to try it out, find out what's possible. But things are going to be just a little different, so code just won't transfer most likely. Okay. Other than that, oh yeah, you're going to be able to do different types of 3D models. There's going to be different types, like much easier 3D model import. I think it supports USD and FBX now. Unfortunately, there won't be any importing of assets, templates, etc. I'm going to say something just now that we're getting to the back end of the video, and hopefully this won't get me in too much trouble. The desktop editor has been going downhill for like the last 6 months. I think everyone's experienced more bugs recently, and I was attributing it to just them adding too many features too quickly. but I'm actually starting to believe that they've put all their best developers on the studio, and desktop editor is having what happened to code blocks and the VR editor happening to it, which is that it's just being less supported, less maintained. And the big studios that used to report all the bugs on desktop editor and keep it stable are now using Horizon Studio, and therefore they're not catching the bugs. They're not having that instant access to meta people to get it fixed right away, which we don't really have. We've got Zendesk to report, and that just, it's a very slow process if it ever works. There is a new bug reporting feature coming. That's really exciting. I don't know too much about it. I just know that there's going to be a way to vote for your bugs that you're experiencing. It'll make be a lot easier to report bugs and upvote bugs. I can't wait. Last but not least, oh man, I just lost it. Last but not least, what was I going to say? Oh, it was so important. Let me pause and think about it. I think it was that I wanted to mention you need to apply for the beta. I encourage you to do that. There's so much I didn't mention. I've got 3 pages of notes on this, and they just get too technical, and I didn't really want to get too technical today, but just know that there's things in there that are absolutely phenomenal if you have a traditional developer experience. And because of that, the reality for this application is if you have any experience outside of Horizon, Unity, Unreal, any other professional development environment for video games, etc., you're going to want to mention that. They are looking for people with bigger experience than the desktop editor. And that's unfortunate for me because I'm like, I really want access to this tool, but I've pretty much only got Horizon experience. So if you have any, I definitely encourage you to put it in there. So fill out that application. I'll make sure to put a link in the description. And yeah, check out, I'm sure there's more information on that webpage. I'm sure there's like some information out there other than what I've said. So feel free to keep digging into it, but I just want to give you a real quick introduction to what's there. Other things from Connect, new glasses, they're cool. I didn't actually get to try them. Their line was like 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and I just wanted to do other demos. Yes, my favorite VR game I got to try was called Reach. It's coming out at some point. It was amazing, got to meet one of the developers. So good. It really ignited my love for VR, which I haven't felt in a very long time. Because I've been working. I've just been working. I love my job, but this was like, oh my gosh, I want to be in VR playing this game. It was a parkour, jumping, climbing, shooting, arrow. Like, it was awesome. It was really, really awesome. So check out Reach if you're interested in that. But the glasses. I think that's probably the thing most people are most excited about. That was, I would say it's underwhelming in one aspect and overwhelming in another aspect. The underwhelming part is we've had displays like this for years. They just were not as high quality. Again, I haven't tried it to say for sure, but my understanding is it's got higher pixel density. Sorry, they have higher pixel density than the Quest, like the most dense headsets we have available in the market, which is really insane. Now it's using projectors, which is what makes that possible, and then they're bouncing the light. It's pretty insane. But it's not augmented reality, and anyone who's calling it augmented reality is making a very fatal mistake. It's just a 2D display. I've heard from some users that it felt very uncomfortable to use. It's not like physically placing things in the world, it's just locked to your face. So it's kind of like a heads-up display in VR, which they're cool. The reason is they don't take up as much power, right? Like they're a lot lighter. It makes sense that they would do this, but I want augmented reality. I want something I can like, in my dream world, guys, we have double vision, augmented reality. I can put a 3D model in front of you and you can be sitting in your living room, watching TV, socializing with whatever, and then doing this and like modeling with your hands. I call it clay is the idea that I have in my head. And it's just one 3D modeling tool for reference. The tool I'm building, I want it to support plugins right out of the box. So like, you can use the clay plugin that I build to like do like this, or if you don't like that, you could make your own tool that works something completely different. Anyway, stay tuned. I'm very excited about it, but like that mental model for me is this like, we're in VR, we're in 3D space. Why not just push pull? Can't wait. I can't wait to start building this, but I have to finish this one world I'm working on in Horizon right now. So probably after the competition ends is when I'll actually get started. So no more competitions, man. I just don't have the mental capacity for it. More like I probably won't compete in the next one. This one, I think it aligns with the world that we were already building, so that works. It's the first slumber party, for those wondering. So anyway, glasses. They're cool. That's underwhelming, right? Like that's kind of underwhelming. But here's where things get overwhelming. The wristband. Holy smokes. This wristband is mind-blowing. When I saw the demo, I just couldn't believe my eyes. Like, okay, first the sliding thing, I was like, yeah, that's easy. You can figure that out. That's pretty simple. The tapping, okay, I get it. Like, that's stuff we can track through the signals. I get it. That's totally, like, we've heard about this for years. Meta bought this company like 3 years ago. This is not new technology. And then he goes and starts writing as if he's got a pencil in his hand or a pen, and it's turning into text on the screen. And that was when I was like, hold up, no way. It blew my mind. I can't wait to try that out. They're going to have demos in stores in 2 weeks. That's when I'm going to do my demo. I'm going to get to one of those stores, try it out. Can't wait. So I'd encourage you to do the same if you have any interest in this technology. I think it's a really great first step in the right direction, but it's definitely not perfect. I'm going to wait at least a year or two. But eventually, I totally want to build 3D modeling tools in augmented reality. Like, oh, that'd be so cool. Man, there's so many awesome opportunities. And then they had they showed the screen where you can like render your whole living room environment. There's just so many opportunities. It's really, really exciting. So somebody in VR could be like joining you in your real life living room while you're like 3D modeling, and there's so many opportunities. I'm very, very excited. I love technology. So cool headset. If you got $800 to spend and you think you're going to try it out and use it, definitely recommend it. I don't think I'm going to have time in the next year to use it. I'm going to be more focused on VR right now because that's where the tooling is supported for me. Okay. Amazing wristband, modest headset, like still really impressive. Those projectors are actually insane. I feel like it's not that insane to me because I've been hearing about that type of technology for a while. And then the 2D one, I saw a demo of that 2 years ago where somebody had that at the Connect event. They were like literally demoing a 2D screen, but it was lower resolution, of course. Okay, I think I've finished all the topics. Was there anything else I really wanted to talk about from Connect? Went to the main event, got to see James Cameron. I wrote a 20-something page paper on James Cameron in college, so to see him in person blew my mind. Actually, was a huge highlight for me. Then Diplo came on stage and I was like, are you kidding? It's like my Instagram feed coming to life. And then he like performed a set. Mind blown. Honestly, it's like exhausting socially. So anyone who is there who's watching this, you might also, if you're an introvert like me, be very socially exhausted. I really need a couple days to not do anything, but I wanted to quickly get this debrief video because I felt like there was a lot of questions that needed to be answered about this new system. I'd say have no fear developing the desktop editor. I spent a good hour and a half talking to one of my colleagues about what we're going to do with Slumber Party and how are we going to use this new system if we got beta access this week or next week. Like, it's supposed to be beta access rolling out in the next couple of months from what I've been told. But like, what if we got access really early? Would we want to start moving over? Because everything we've done is designed in Blender. We could write the code from scratch. We could be building these like gizmos that I just mentioned for the community. Like, that would be a really fun thing. Part of me is struggling with it because I want to make educational materials and I want to make educational materials in the moment when I am excited and I'm learning about it. And if I do all the learning for the next year and then I can make educational materials, it's just a little late for me. Like, it's not impossible. It's definitely not impossible, but it definitely removes some of the fun, right? Like, it becomes a little bit more work. I have to like do a whole deep dive, kind of like what we did for the series this summer. And I actually enjoyed that, to be honest. But so who knows? I do love education, so that's fun. But yeah, but after that hour and a half conversation, we were very convinced that it was a mistake. Like, the time it would take to develop each of those gizmos is going to take way longer than I'd imagine. We are already not using triggers in our world, so like that wasn't that big. Because our code is very much just TypeScript, it should be mostly copy-pastable code, so like we had some advantages, but the lack of like a projectile launcher gizmo and probably a bunch of other gizmos I can't even think of is going to be a problem. Oh, we should talk Noesis, or Noesis, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's very exciting. So Yeah, we're not going to. Like, we're gonna finish Slumber Party in Desktop Editor. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. Like, as much as there's kind of that FOMO, like, oh my gosh, I want to get in this tool right away. It needs a lot more development time, and there's also just a ton of tooling required. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I hope they'll let me make tutorials. So Meta, if you're listening, let me know. Because like right, the developers out there, and this was the first year this happened. By the way, love you guys. Thank you for watching. It was awesome getting to meet a ton of you guys in person. That was so insane. But the most insane part is when developers would just walk up to me while I was walking through the crowds, and people would just be like, "Oh my gosh, thank you for your tutorials." That's never happened in past years. I think that's just a really good indication that Horizon is picking up steam, Horizon Worlds, and like the desktop editor has attracted a ton of new users this year from the professional developer community. That was so awesome. But my point is, if you're Meta and you're listening by any chance, that people need these tutorials, and I love making them, and it also inspires people to try it out, apply for the beta. So I really hope that you'll consider letting me make public tutorials on this if you'll have me. Anyway, cool beans, cool beans. Did I mention that nothing is compatible? I kind of did, but like no templates, no assets, none of that's going to be importable to the new system. It's really unfortunate, but there's going to be a whole nother asset library there. So, okay, we are at the 20-minute mark. This is twice as long as I intended it to be, but I needed to mention Noesis. Noesis is a custom UI replacement, more or less. It's going to allow you to build UI really great UI. Designers should be able to like make it fast, way faster than ever before. I mean, I used to spend 8 hours designing UI. It should be possible to design that same UI in about 30 minutes. That's what I heard from a developer at the conference. So I can't wait to try it. Also, Meta's going to foot the bill for the Noesis membership because it's a premium tool. It'll be part of the desktop editor at some point. At least that's how I've heard it. I know that it's a part of the studio, but I imagine it's like we need it in desktop editor, and desktop editor isn't going anywhere anytime soon, so they're probably trying to work on that from what I've been told. But there's no timelines. It's just one of those like, who knows? So hopefully we'll see that happen. But you got to remember, take everything you hear with a grain of salt, because Meta changes plans all the time. So, okay. This has been fun, guys. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I better get ready for this wedding. It's supposed to be there in 50 minutes. Okay. Bye.